Oh, yeah, I'm back. Sorry, folks. I think it's that I have about a billion tabs open in Google because I had to prep a bunch of stream stuff and uh, a lot of different video and audio and shit. Oof. There we go. Pinned. Is the mic a fed now? No. All right. We back? You can all see and hear me just fine? Um, I'm really frustrated, chat. I'm tired and I'm frustrated. And it's so fucking frustrating. Thanks for sticking with me, folks. Um, like I'm sorry. I have zero tolerance today for people who are like, "Oh no, it's look, she ran him over. She ran him over." Like, I'm sorry, bumping someone who steps in front of your car, that's not running someone over. And someone who is getting bumped by your car as they step in front of it to shoot you, that isn't a thing you should shoot someone for. Seriously, why did he go around? He went around to use facial recognition technology on his phone. I never said that. I'm not saying you said that, Patrick. But a bunch of people right before, and this is part of my frustration here, right before stream crashed for the second time, which is infuriating in its own right, several people came in to talk about how she had it coming. I'm not talking about people who are here in good faith. I'm talking about people who are seeking out streams like this so they can talk about how an innocent woman deserved to be gunned down in front of her partner after they dropped off their kid from like at school. Like I might have somewhat of a calm demeanor today, but I guarantee you guys that I am so fucking close to losing my shit. Yeah, you've been on top of it, Brutus. I appreciate it. So one last time, to pick up where I left off, we know that the account of the feds that ICE agent was run over and in self-defense had to shoot her dead. We know it's bullshit. Bellingcat put together this digital recreation based on the different angles of photos. You can see the ICE agent walk around her car, pause in front. She starts pulling back, turns the car to go around this ICE vehicle that is parked in the street at an angle. And then you can see, again, the ICE officer open fire as he is already on the other side of the car. Perhaps he got bumped, perhaps he did not. But then, either way, not a life-threatening issue. And then he fires 3 times, and the car goes down. Could I have a link to the Bellingcat video? Yeah, here you go. Yeah, he walked away just fine, didn't he? There you go. What is Bellingcat? Bellingcat is an independent, like, investigatory outfit. They do like investigations into timelines of events that specifically require like a lot of um data, putting a lot of data points together. um you can see here they're a well-known investigatory outfit of researchers. They do good work. Yeah, just to be here, I'm not gonna lie, I've cried a lot today. So we continue going forward on this story. Here is here's a man interviewed by MS Now, a witness to the events of the day.
8:30 this morning, I was just getting up and I heard a bunch of commotion and whistling outside, and then I heard bang, 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 3 shots. I went to go look out the window and it looked like there's a Honda over there that crashed, and I found out it was an observer that got shot and killed, and I saw them carry it. I got a bunch of video of them carrying the body to the ambulance and stuff. So there's an observer that got shot at an ICE raid of the house next door.
I'm sure that was a scary thing to witness.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty right-leaning, but seeing this is not what you need to do. This is not how to do it. It's not how we're supposed to do things around here in America. So.
What was how many like agents and other people were here when that happened?
When it first started, there was maybe 20, but now there's hundreds. I mean, they got everybody out, so it's kind of crazy right now.
What's it been like seeing all of this?
Kind of scary. I lived during the riots in 2020, so it's kind of paralleling that right now. It's kind of same feeling. Hoping it doesn't, but it's getting a little rowdy.
Yeah. You know, local conservative man even watches this and goes, "Oh shit. I didn't think it happened on my street." And you're all good, Patrick Lucas. Don't worry about it. And I just have to say, it's worth remembering here that we can, in fact, prosecute ICE agents here in Minnesota. Here's Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Your response to these events today, and will the state investigate?
I could say this is a tragically foreseeable incident, because when you escalate with the number of ICE agents that Trump has done, when you recruit them, when you train them, when you signal to them that they don't have to operate under the normal rules by disclosing their identity, you let them wear masks, you do all these kind of things, you are going to have tragic incidents like this. It is foreseeable and it should be expected and it must be condemned. And, you know, we will investigate. The state of Minnesota is part of the investigation, and this is important to go forward. There needs to be a situation where the feds are not just investigating the feds, you know, particularly when you got, you know, Kash Patel at the head of the FBI. And now there needs to be state involvement, and I'm glad that there is. And
your response to,
I gotta be honest. I want so much more fire. I want so much more fire. I want him to talk about, we're going to prosecute this murder. Just say that. Just say that. You know? I like, a bunch of people are asking, "Oh, can they?" And like, just do it. Here's a local news report on why that is difficult from the Min Post. State and local prosecutors can charge federal law enforcement agents with crimes, but it isn't easy. Um, Attorney General Keith Ellison and Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty called for local investigations after U.S. ICE agent shot and killed an unarmed woman in Minneapolis. Um, Minnesota attorneys who specialize in police misconduct cases say that the federal government is unlikely to be able to block state or local prosecution. Um, Unless there's some wild-eyed legal theory out there that someone picks up to defend this guy, I think it's going to be a very tall order for a federal judge or Department of Justice to block prosecution from happening, says one local attorney. Robert Bennett of Minneapolis-based Robbins Kaplan LLP has long represented victims of law enforcement overreach, including a victim of a former police officer, Derek Chauvin, who was convicted on both state and federal charges in 2020, or for the 2020 murder of George Floyd. Based on what you've already seen today with President Trump's public statements and Secretary Noem's public statements, there's never going to be a federal prosecution, Bennett said. Bennett described the federal officers he has worked with and prosecuted over the last 5 decades as being very well trained, conscious of the legal nuances of their positions, and generally professional. The conduct going on now in Minnesota is not that of a well-trained organization that understands the limits of its power and the limits on the use of force, he said. Noting that unlike the FBI or ATF, ICE is operating more like an American iteration of the secret police. That's a lawyer who has been spending his entire life working on these stories, working on these cases. The lawyers are now calling these guys fucking Gestapo. The arrest of Chauvin took place 5 days after he murdered George Floyd. Yeah, it might take a couple days. Moriarty said in a statement earlier today that her office was pushing hard for a local investigation, which is the only way to ensure full transparency and review by our office. We will use every available lever to ensure a local, transparent investigation takes place. And I imagine part of the reason there is this focus on investigation, as opposed to we're going to prosecute this guy, is largely that they're going to try to make sure there's no way the defense can argue that, like, the investigation was poisoned. You know? What happens if the fucker leaves the state? I imagine other states can arrest him and then, like, send him the same this like warrants being out for your arrest in one state, like they'll if they pick you up in another state, they'll send you over. Yeah, I guess we get a manhunt. He did flee the state? Well, then he's gonna be a fugitive, I guess. But I guarantee you, folks are gonna find him. Other states, I doubt, would arrest him. I'm not so sure about that one. Would that be the responsibility of the marshals to nab this guy? I'm not entirely sure. But like, guys, don't be acting like you've never heard of someone being arrested in one state and sent to another state for prosecution. Yeah, here we go. At a news conference Wednesday, Minnesota Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson stressed the state's involvement in the investigation, but noted it is working in conjunction with the FBI. We don't comment on active investigations, but also keep in mind that this investigation is in its infancy, so any speculation about what had happened would be just that, and we will not engage in speculation. So there is apparently an ongoing investigation on the local level. So I guess we'll wait and see how that turns out. But I would encourage authorities to make it quick because 10,000 people showing up for a vigil on night number 1, not great. And I want to remind you all that because of ICE activity, schools are closed tomorrow and schools are closed on Friday, meaning that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to have a bit more free time or be able to get out there and protest. I am predicting that the next couple of days are going to be pretty wild here in Minnesota. Yeah, the schools were closed because of ICE threats. Because ICE were throwing tear gas and pepper spray around schools and abducting people who work at schools. What? Yeah. I played a video earlier in stream. I think I can play it again here. Yeah, here it is. This is a high school. Yeah. What do you all wait, what is this? Pearl Rose? What is this? Police mobilized to silence protesters outside a hotel? Okay, that is pretty funny. Uh the cops showing up to surround the hotel ICE is staying at and blaring their sirens all night. Yeah, all right. You know what? Regardless for their reasoning for doing that, I'm here for it. If it's accidental harassment of ICE agents, I'm here for it, and if it is deliberate, I'm also here for that. Who would have thought Minneapolis PD would actually do something helpful in this situation? That is actually very funny. Thank you for sharing that. um God. And I do have to say, I have a lot of problems with Mayor Frey or Mayor Fry. I forget how you pronounce his last name. Um, but I don't have a problem with this particular response to ICE at being active in the city. I think Mayor Fry is a neoliberal piece of shit. I think his policies are milquetoast. I think he is not a great dude, and I think he's a weak politician. But I like this.
To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. Somebody is dead. That's on you. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now. And justice is what we've all got to get. We're going to make sure that in this very difficult moment, we do not take the bait that these ICE agents are trying to create and that the federal government, to be clear, wants.
People are going to want to exercise their First Amendment rights, but please do so safely and lawfully to ensure that we do not have any further tragedy in this city or destruction.
We can show them the kind of courage, bravery, love, and compassion that makes Minneapolis. Let's unite around hope and love and peace and getting justice. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
You know, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I can also appreciate the reminder for peaceful protest, largely because he's right. What the Trump administration wants here is a violent protest, is, property destruction, is whatever they can frame as evidence of, Antifa rioters at work. Because nothing discredits them quite like not allowing them to spin it in that way. And I think that what is necessary is peaceful mounting pressure for us to run these out-of-town Nazi dipshits back to wherever they came from. If they came from Texas, run them back there. And you know what? Ideally, keep them running until they're out of this goddamn country. The only people who have no place in America are these bigoted pieces of shit who do the Nazi work of acting as the Gestapo of America. They got no place here. There should be no safe haven in this country for Nazis, no safe haven for ICE pieces of shit. And, I, for one, am all for exercising every single First Amendment right to put pressure on them to get the fuck out. Are the rules in the US same as the UK police? Any discharge of any weapon requires an immediate and full inquiry? No, not exactly. I mean, it's supposed to. But we need to keep on talking about a lot more things. We haven't even scratched a lot of the surface of what's been going on here. One of the things locally that happened in Minneapolis today is the first park board meeting to talk about how different parks are going to be used in Minneapolis throughout the city. And luckily, a local reporter, Taylor Dahlin, was present to talk about the events as they transpired. First full park board meeting of the year with the mall parking item pulled by President Tom Olson. Only item on the docket is an ordinance to prevent ICE from staging on park property, introduced by Commissioner Dan Engelhardt. That's it. That's the only thing they're supposed to discuss today. Is denying ICE the ability to organize on park property. And apparently a bunch of people showed up to not talk about ICE, which is, it's one of the most galling aspects of this. But let's take a look just kind of how this transpired. Vice President Kedar Deshpande Not how we expected our first meeting to go. Parks should be a sanctuary. After work yesterday, he visited rec centers, checking to see if they would support Englehart's proposal. This is how he works, doing research. And, you know, a lot of debate here, obviously, but then 17 members of the community showed up to speak at this board meeting. First one talking about a hockey rink. Goes a minute over time. Woman whose husband shoved Bill Mondale at the Ward 7 convention spoke against mall parking resolutions. Something that the park board said they weren't going to talk about. Here's Carol Becker. I got nothing. These items were pulled from the agenda and everyone here just wants to talk about parking.
I'm here today to remind you that what you have to sell to us is your values and your ability to represent us. Tom Olson tried to bring in a huge amendment and sneak it under, putting it in with 24 hours notice, and not have any public hearings, not have any public comment, and ask you to vote on it. I am hoping those are not the values that you bring to this office on your first day at work, because you were elected to represent us, and that means talking to us and listening to us and having public input and not sneaking things on the agenda, especially things that are racist, sexist, ageist, genderist. Why do I say that? Because biking, of course, white women bike at 1/3 the rate of white men, black men bike at 1/3 the rate of white men, black women bike at rates so low the census couldn't report on it. So if we're gonna have these kind of decisions made, it should be made in public, with public input, with a lot of discussion, and a lot of debate, and it's not snuck in on your first day at work when you haven't even figured out where the bathroom is. Thank you very much.
Yeah, what's going on? This is a local Minneapolis meeting today where the main agenda was supposed to be talking about denying ICE the ability to organize on park property. And instead, all of these people showed up to talk about goddamn parking and about how, facilitating more ability for people to bike is sexist and racist. What's she yapping about? That's what she's yapping about. I mean, here's another woman talking about similar things.
I testified before this body before in opposition to any efforts to close the parkway in the ballpark, and I'm here tonight to speak against both resolutions on closing parkways. The tragedy in Minneapolis today just underscores the need we have as people in Minneapolis to work together on things that we agree on. And I agree with Commissioner Engelhardt. Our park should be a refuge, and our interaction between our neighborhoods and the park board should not be another culture war. So I encourage you, drop both these resolutions. Don't try to do this now, or ever, for that matter. But it will hurt my working class renting neighbors. It hurts the public safety of our whole neighborhood along the mall, and it's 2 blocks of Parkway for all that distraction and hurt. Thank you.
Thank you.
I testify.
I'm confused. The point I'm trying to make with this, if this seems out of right field, or out of left field rather, is that this is why you guys need to... No, these aren't MAGA plants. These are just, like, local liberals. Okay? What's their point? Their point is that they showed up to talk about parking conditions in our local parks in Minneapolis. After explicitly the new head of the park board said, we're dropping that agenda item. We're going to be talking about ICE and denying parks to ICE. And instead of respecting that, they all wanted to talk about goddamn parking. And what I'm trying to say is, if you guys don't show up to these meetings, if you guys aren't involved in your local, like, town halls, your local, city council meetings, etc., if you don't actually show up, these are the people who show up. These are the people who show up. If you want to actually be able to deny ICE purchase in your area, you can do that by showing up. Because if you don't, these people will. Like, this is a big problem. The liberals and the DNC are the opposition party. They will block the osmosis of our ideas to let fascism in. They will try. Capital has always opposed pro-working class policies. Our job is not to say, oh, they're gonna defeat us at every turn. Our job is to fucking figure out how to win. I'm so fucking sick of people being like, oh, it's no point in even trying. They're gonna beat us. Well, I guess they'll beat us if you don't give a damn and you don't try. For fuck's sake. Show up. The entire reason I'm pointing this out is because this is a perfect example of something that many people could have gone to and didn't. And my hope is that the reason a lot of people don't show up to these meetings is because they don't know that it's actually really important, that it's actually a way we can keep our communities safe. And so when I'm pointing this out is not to say, look at how captured these institutions are. Because guess what? The park board wanted to talk about ICE. And instead, they weren't able to do it for a large portion of their time today because these people showed up instead of us. All right? That's what I'm trying to say. For fuck's sake, get your heads out of your asses and show the fuck up. I vote. I tell everyone to vote. Well, almost everyone I'd invite to my voting party. That's great. Do more. Show the fuck up. I spilled my beverage. I'll be right back. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. Not muted. I know, you fuckers.
For this
I'm angry as shit.
opposition to any efforts to close the parkway in the mall park, and I'm here tonight to speak against both resolutions on closing parkways. The tragedy in Minneapolis today just underscores the need we have as people in Minneapolis to work together on things that we agree on. And I agree with Commissioner Engelhardt, our park should be a refuge.
The words are back!
Should not be another culture war. So I encourage you, drop both these resolutions. Don't try to do this now, or ever, for that matter. But it will hurt my working class renting neighbors. It hurts the public safety of our whole neighborhood along the mall. And it's 2 blocks of Parkway for all that destruction and hurt. Thank you. I testified before this body before in opposition to any efforts to close the parkway in the mall park, and I'm here tonight to speak against both resolutions on closing parkways. The tragedy in Minneapolis today just underscores the need we have as people in Minneapolis to work together on things that we agree on. And I agree with Commissioner Engelhardt, our park should be a refuge, and our interaction between our neighborhoods and the park board should not be a culture war. So I encourage you, drop both these resolutions. Don't try to do this now, or ever, for that matter. but it will hurt my working class renting neighbors. It hurts the public safety of our whole neighborhood along the mall, and it's 2 blocks of Parkway for all that destruction and hurt. Thank you. I testified before this body before in opposition to any efforts to close the Parkway in the ballpark, and I'm here tonight to speak against both
Back, y'all. So, folks, I just really want it to be known the reason I'm showing you guys footage from specifically a local meeting is because, again, if you guys don't show up, these dipshits do. And the entire premise is that you guys need to show up to these meetings to take up more time than the dipshits. Okay? Your job is to build local political power. You do that by showing the fuck up to these meetings. If you want to protect your neighbors, if you want to be an effective, like, power broker in your local area, you show the fuck up. You don't throw your hands up and say, look at these dipshits. They've clearly defeated us. You show the fuck up. Am I okay? No, I'm not fucking okay. Like, you show up. Finally, someone speaking on the actual agenda item, Mitchell, a Leuna park board worker, talks about the trauma of witnessing an ICE abduction at a park, wants training for park staff on what to do because he froze. Al Flowers says he came to speak about parking, but he was told it wasn't on the agenda. But as a community activist, he is thinking about what happened today in the parks and our kids playing there in the summertime. What will we do? Need a strategy for what to do. Local football coach. Open Parkways is the most ridiculous name for what you're trying to do. Everyone claps. Then says she found out when she got there that the items were pulled from the agenda. Still didn't bring up the only item on the agenda. Tom Olson, I'm not over Melissa Hortman. I don't think I'm over George Floyd. Woman muttered, Jesus. Again, the worst and stupidest people you know are showing up at these meetings, and there need to be more of us than there are of them. Okay? That's the only point I'm trying to make here. It's that local governance matters. If you want to deny your parks to ICE, if you want to deny your public property to ICE, if you want to deny that to them and make it harder and harder and harder for them to round up your neighbors, you can do that. That is available to you. These are the mechanisms. All you got to do is show the fuck up with enough of your neighbors and you can make it happen. What do you want us to do? Build snowplows to remove the ice? I mean, I guess if you gotta. I appreciate the support, folks. Deeply and truly. And I just... the image that has haunted me today is this one. That's, again, Gregory Bavino, head of ICE operations. He's here in Minneapolis, smiling at the site where an ICE agent shot an innocent woman in the face. Fucking smiling. These people are evil. These people are fucking evil. And I pray that we all get to live to see a day where they are held accountable in a court of law. And it needs to be that we hold them accountable in a court of law. I need y'all to know that. Because a core component of what lies before us is creating a society that is stable, that is just, and that is better than what has come before. And if we cannot have that justice in our legal system, then we have already failed before we've even started. And here we have some other conservative reactions to this shooting. Here's the #1 political streamer on Twitch and the dumbest man on the internet, Asmongold. Yeah, rip bozo. They told her to get out of the car, and then she put it in reverse and tried to run over an officer and drive away. Comply with police and don't try to run them over. This angle shows it better. Except that, again, we've watched it from multiple angles. She did not try to run that man over. It is very clear. When he fires that shot, he is already clear from the front of the car. It gets worse. It gets worse. Here's a man named Derek Evans, whose handle is Derek Evans for WV, presumably for West Virginia, labeling Renee Good a transgender terrorist. The conservative lie machine has already spun up into full gear in a matter of hours. By all accounts, Renee Good was not transgender, for the record. Now, who is Derek Evans, by the way? Well, this appears to be Derek Evans, someone who served as a member of the West Virginia House of Delegates from 2020 to 2021, and wouldn't you know it, pled guilty to a felony charge of civil disorder and sentenced to 90 days in prison for participating in the attack on January 6th. Cool stuff. Here is GOP Representative Wesley Hunt.
When a federal officer... The bottom line is this: when a federal officer gives you instructions, you abide by them, and then you get to keep your life. And it is clear that she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon, mow over an ICE agent, and now...
That is absolutely not what is shown in the videos.
She is dead, and her death is tragic, but at the end of the day, it was completely avoidable if she would have simply followed the commands of the ICE agents.
I love, bro, I love that, you know, America, land of the free, you know, freedom is paramount, you know, freedom is sacrosanct, but, you know, if you don't follow the instructions of a agent of the government exactly, then you forfeit your life. These people are literally out there saying, you know, oh yeah, freedom, freedom, rah, rah, rah. You have the right to own like any kind of gun you want. But you don't have like, but if you don't listen to a police officer fast enough, they have the right to gun you down in the street like a dog. Here is Kristi Noem defending the actions of her ICE agent, her fucking Gestapo.
Threat of vehicle encounters. Are you going to change the way
You know, people need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. This domestic act of terrorism to use your vehicle to try to kill law enforcement officers is going to stop. And I'm asking the Department of Justice to prosecute it as domestic terrorism because it's clear that it's being coordinated. People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations and then to run over anybody who gets in their way while they go out there and try to disrupt peace and public safety. And Americans deserve better.
You know, I'm just going to note something, that if Renee Good had actually been trying to run over an ICE agent, Why did it roll in the complete opposite direction of him? It continued going for about half a block away from the ICE officer. Pretty interesting trajectory for a deadly weapon to take. Almost as if it was moving away from him. What the fuck is she trying to imply here? What she's trying to imply is that Renee Good, the victim of this murder, was a domestic terrorist. That's what she's implying. Here's Speaker of the House Mike Johnson weighing in.
I just saw the disturbing video. Obviously, it's a serious situation. There's going to be a full investigation, as we all know and expect. Look, it appears to us, I guess, anybody who sees the video from certain angles, that the driver of the vehicle weaponized that vehicle against law enforcement officers and against bystanders. It was a dangerous situation. People make snap judgments in those situations, and it's a really sad outcome. Look, I do think that it's right. I think I guess maybe it was Homeland or someone put out a statement that this clearly appears to be the result of this just months-long rhetoric against law enforcement and people encouraging that kind of violence. And so we call upon all the citizens.
Oh, yeah, dude. That mom who just dropped her kid off at school, who's driving with her wife and stuffed animals in the glove box of her car, just snapped and tried to run over an ICE agent. Yeah, because she just a fully, like, really well-planned out domestic terror attack. Fuck off, man.
Of Minneapolis to be calm. We don't want anyone to be hurt. We need law enforcement to be able to do their jobs, and it's a terrible situation. But we await.
I have hatred in my heart for this man. I have nothing but hatred and contempt. I will respect his fundamental human rights. I think he deserves a day in court. I think he deserves a trial by his peers. But man, everyone from the top to the bottom in the GOP making excuses for this woman's murder and trying to slander her as a terrorist. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, just genuinely. The agents he's defending are showing up at high schools and attacking school workers without any provocation or reason behind it. They're shooting chemical tear gas into, like, the air around schools and trying to intimidate parents and families and kids. Schools are shut down for the next 2 days here because of these fucks. Oh, but they're just poor, honest ICE workers. You know, the poor, honest, masked men roaming your streets to abduct your neighbors. The hard-working, you know, Gestapo agents. Won't someone think of them? And here is Donald J. Trump himself. I've just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he's alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. I'm sorry, the idea that that man had to go to the hospital after that? He calmly walked back to his car and, like, drove off. The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do the job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from the radical left movement of violence and hate. Yeah, also, obviously, is Trump hallucinating? No, this is obviously just written by Stephen Miller. Like, this is obviously written by not Donald Trump. And, like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. The fucking president is delusional. Well, no. I mean, yes, he is delusional, but also, this wasn't written by Donald Trump. It has complete sentences in it, for God's sake. Okay? And not only that, like, even if it was written by Trump, like, yeah, obviously Trump is not going to say what he saw in that video, but perhaps more importantly, why would Trump watch the video? Like, Donald Trump doesn't give a shit. Donald Trump is gonna be like, I have better things to do. I'm gonna go golf. Or, like, try and put some words together to talk about how big his dick is. You know, like, he's not gonna bother talking about this. He's not gonna bother watching the video. He doesn't give a shit. No, he's busy taking another dementia test. You know, his 4th one of the year, 5th one of the year, whatever it is. Now, I saw this floating around and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So if in the future ICE is abolished, what is the plan to deal with around 20,000 people with weapons training who've been marinated in white supremacism and inculcated with the idea that it's okay to hurt or kill people you don't like? Because just cutting them loose sounds possibly even more dangerous than the status quo. And the answer to that is, we need a fucking Nuremberg. Like, when I say prosecute every ICE agent, I mean prosecute every ICE agent. They are wandering around masked in our communities and abducting people right and left, whether or not they have valid cause to do so. You prosecute them. Like, I'm not being ironic about that. I'm not being hyperbolic. You prosecute them. And if they are found to have contributed in a gross, negligent, or hateful way to all of this, which I'm certain many of them have, you give them the appropriate prison time. Like, this isn't difficult. God. Like, oh man, what are we gonna do with these people who have been willfully breaking the law on the orders of an unlawful president? Like, I don't know. Oh man, this would be like, oh man, if Al Qaeda was operating domestically and we caught 20,000 members of Al Qaeda operating within the United States, do you think the question would be like, oh man, I guess we just release them? There are just too many of them. No, you prosecute them. We have a legal system for a reason. Jesus. Fucking Al Qaeda occupying our streets. And then that brings me to a point here, which is that we are only now seeing the very beginning of how bad ICE is going to be. That is the disgusting truth behind all of this. I want to remind everyone, ICE has $100 million to put into its recruitment apparatus. Nuremberg didn't work. Jacob Geller's video on it informed me a lot. Yeah, but it's a good shorthand for exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like, I understand you can get into the nitty-gritty of how, like, Nuremberg failed. I do understand that. But when I say we need to do a Nuremberg, you all understand what I mean, right? You understand that what I'm talking about is we need to prosecute these agents. Like, You prosecute these agents. It's like full stop. And I understand like Nuremberg didn't work, but also you you do better. Like, I don't know. We have to have accountability. We have to have, the people who have done this to us stand to account for their actions. And it's not difficult to wrap your head around the idea of doing an effective Nuremberg here. ICE agents aren't doing anything wrong, don't need to be charged. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You would not say that to anyone's face in this chat. You cowardly piece of trash. Go back to your fucking clan meeting, you piece of shit. So, there's $100 million being put in to this program. Alright? Move to Cuba, commie? Nah, I'm gonna improve this country. If you don't like this country, if you don't like the policies of this country, you get the fuck out. No room for fascists here, bitch. Like, Jesus. Oh, you love this country so much you want to destroy it. Nah, get the fuck out. Over my dead body, you piece of trash. These fascist fucks, they're cowards. They are cowards, and they are never going to beat us. And I say that because they are dedicated to a death cult. They are dedicated to killing everyone different from them, and as soon as all those people are gone, they're going to turn on each other and eat one another alive. That is what every fascist group has ever done. That is what they are doing as well. And our job is to fight them every inch of the way until we win and they are gone. Full stop. The idea that we are not built to make our cities and our communities better, to provide for everyone who lives in and around us, like, that's some death cult shit. And that is what conservatives stand for these days. The idea that, oh, you're only out for yours, you're only out for you and yours, bullshit. Get the fuck out. I'm here to improve things for everybody. And if you aren't on board with that, get the fuck out of the way. Like, go back to watching some kind of conservative influencer who tells you how to, like, sexually abuse women, you pieces of shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you don't have a place here. If you watched a video of an armed federal agent shooting a woman dead in front of her wife, and your reaction is Dead Poet Society 2 was lit, you don't got any place in this community. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Right-wing bigots love to say, oh, if you don't like it here, get out, move out, immigrate, just leave, go away. But the moment you say it back to them, they throw a baby temper tantrum because they want you to leave. They don't believe in if shit sucks, hit the bricks. They just believe in the people I don't like should leave. Yeah, and my response to that is make me. I'm going to make this community better. And until such a time as you make me leave, I'm going to do that. I am going to make things better. And if you don't like it, guess what? You have the freedom to get the fuck out. We shouldn't be giving trolls the time of day. Nah. I disagree. I think it is good to tell them to eat bricks. It is good to tell pieces of shit that they're pieces of shit. And I think it is good to make them feel, I think it is good to make members of the KKK feel unwelcome wherever you are. Where if you are on a digital platform, it is good to make the KKK feel unwelcome. If you are in a coffee shop, it is good to make a fucking Gestapo feel unwelcome. If you're in a Target, it is good to make a Nazi feel like he needs to get the fuck out. But they like it? I don't care. I don't care what their fetish is. I don't care if the only thing that bricks them up is being told to eat shit. Like, that's their own business. Along with everything else that's happening today, by the way, Donald Trump is trying to say that he wants to increase the military's budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. And now this is a post written by Donald Trump. Let me read you this. After long and difficult negotiations with senators, congressmen, secretaries, and other political representatives, I have determined that for the good of our country, especially in these very troubled and dangerous times, our military budget for the year 2027 should not be $1 trillion, but rather $1.5 trillion. That's $500 billion more, by the way. This will allow us to build the dream military that we have long been entitled to, and more importantly, that will keep us safe and secure regardless of foe. If it weren't for the tremendous numbers being produced by tariffs and other countries, many of which in the past have ripped off the United States at levels never seen before, I would stay at the $1 trillion number, but because of tariffs and the tremendous income that they bring, amounts being generated that would have been unthinkable in the past, especially just 1 year ago during sleepy Joe Biden administration, the worst president in the history of our country, we were able to easily hit the $1.5 trillion number while at the same time producing an unparalleled military force and having the ability to, at the same time, pay down debt and likewise pay a substantial dividend to moderate income patriots within our country, President Donald J. Trump. And, like, you know that it was written by Donald Trump because none of that makes sense. Like, none of that makes sense. Like, his argument here is essentially, well, we could have left the budget at $1 trillion, but tariffs, which are making us so much money, mean that we have to ramp it up to 1.5 trillion. Like, it's just nonsense. It's like crazy fucking nonsense. Now, let's turn to some Democratic responses, both local and national. All right. And I think it is worth taking a look because obviously this is all going to go in a lot of different places in the near future, right? What the fuck am I watching? Dude, I don't know. Like, you clicked on this channel. Like, maybe you could find out by not asking in chat. It's not a difficult thing. Are you stupid? Can you not read? Do you have to have ChatGPT hold your hand when you piss? Like, what? Like, Jesus. Some people, man. So here's Amy Klobuchar here. Her response. And the reason I think Amy Klobuchar's response is important is largely because, well, she's the prospective next gubernatorial candidate for the Democratic Party here in Minnesota. And here's what she said in response to this. I am praying for the family and loved ones of the woman who was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis this morning. This tragedy is the result of the administration sending federal agents onto our streets against the wishes of local law enforcement, including our respected police chief Brian O'Hara. We need full transparency and an investigation of what happened, and I'm deeply concerned that statements made by DHS do not appear to reflect video evidence and on-the-ground accounts. While our immigration enforcement should be focused on apprehending and prosecuting violent criminals to make our communities safer, these ICE actions are doing the opposite and making our state less safe. Which is one of the most milquetoast things I've ever read in response to a federal agent murdering a woman in broad daylight. Like, I gotta be honest, this response, in my mind, is just so utterly disqualifying. Like, one of her own constituents was shot dead today by a federal agent in front of, like, her partner after dropping off their kid at school, blood spattering the stuffed animals in the car. And Amy Klobuchar's response is essentially the most form letter response I've ever read in my life. She really is the most neolib, isn't she? I mean, she's basically like from the Hillary Clinton era. She's from the 90s. She's a creature of the 90s. She's just very unimpressive, to say the least. Wasn't she just turning her car around? Yes. We've now watched videos over and over and over again. I've slowed it down. I've gone frame by frame. She reversed her car. She turned the wheels. She was going to turn around an ICE agent's vehicle, and an ICE agent stepped in front of her car to do facial recognition shit. And then as she started slowly moving forward and turning to avoid the ICE officer, he pulled out a gun, sidestepped the vehicle, and shot her in the face. That, like, it is very apparent to me that that is what happened. Now, folks, if you are in Minneapolis or in Minnesota and want to turn out to a protest tomorrow in about 4.5 hours, there is going to be a morning protest here in Minneapolis, organized by our local Indivisible, Twin Cities Indivisible. Join the others at the Whipple Federal Building Thursday morning, 7 a.m. for a somber event to mourn and protest the murder of an innocent observer, and also to protest the abductions of hundreds of people since the surge began. So, Whipple Federal Building, 1 Federal Drive, Minneapolis. For those of you who want to show up, it'll be, again, later today, because it's currently 2:35 in the morning. So by the time this goes up as a segment, probably this protest will have already happened. But for those of you watching live, this is an opportunity to do something here. And yeah, people are organizing locally. Here is some footage from the vigil that happened tonight. Again, over 10,000 people showed up.
Because they want us to be afraid of each other. We have literally nothing to lose at this point. I lose my job, I lose my cats, I lose my house. It doesn't matter. I have the people on my side. And you all have the people on your side. So stand in solidarity with us. Don't forget about us. If we get a Democratic president in a couple years, we're like, oh, what the fuck's it? Because they...
You know, I think this goes to show just how many people give a damn. Okay? What pisses me off is that they're implying an investigation is needed to confirm what we saw with our own eyes. I mean, to be fair, that is how our legal system operates. It's understandable that they have to, as government officials, rely on government process. But it is deeply frustrating. I acknowledge that. I do want to say one thing that is happening is that people on the ground are getting organized. 600 plus people still showed up for legal observer training in Minneapolis tonight, in addition to those currently on patrol this minute while the vigil is happening in South Minneapolis. People are showing up. People are showing up. People are getting trained in how to do what Renee Good was doing, how to safely observe ICE's actions, and how to keep them accountable. Has Indivisible weighed in on this at all? They have, and they have boosted this specific event that I just talked about to organize protests tomorrow morning, or rather in like 4.5 hours at the Whipple building. Okay, so yes. Also, I believe there's going to be an Indivisible call tomorrow, but we'll see.
Inside.
Here is another demonstration happening.
We refuse to become dead inside. They want us to live in fear. They want us terrorized, afraid to show up for each other, the way the people of Minneapolis have shown up, and the way Chicago has shown up. And while this violence didn't occur in our city, we know what it's like to have—
Yeah, this is Chicago, by the way.
—their guns drawn on us. We understand the terror Minneapolis is facing, and we feel their loss deeply. A federal agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good, and with that shot, ICE took aim at every city where people have dared to organize against their violence, every place where neighbors have chosen each other over fear. But people of conscience will not be cowed. Today, our siblings in struggle in Minneapolis chanted, "You can't kill us all." I am grateful to the people of Minneapolis tonight. Their courage in the wake of this violence is a bright light for us to rally around.
And we in Minneapolis appreciate the support of people all across the world. And here is one of the realest ones running currently for Congress. Here is Kat Abu-Ghazaleh talking about this incident.
Let's talk about what happened with ICE in Minneapolis. And by that I mean ICE murdering a woman in cold blood and broad daylight. My name is Kat Abu-Ghazaleh. I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois, and I believe abolishing ICE is both a moral and legal imperative for the United States. And I think what happened in Minneapolis shows exactly that. If you haven't seen the video, essentially what happens is a woman is trying to drive away from ICE while they are in a neighborhood, and an officer goes to her window and shoots her in the head. This woman, Renee Good, is a mother of 3 children. She didn't belong to any ICE protest groups. She was in the wrong—
I have not heard that she's a mother to 3 children. I only know of one confirmed that I've seen in reports, but—
wrong place at the wrong time. The right jumped onto this incident, calling her a domestic terrorist pretty much immediately. Even the president jumped in and said the force was justified. They're wrong. And they're lying. Any government agency that—
There are a lot of narratives running around right now, so again, be careful what you buy into. She's a mother of 3, 1 girl, 2 boys. Oh, her husband had 2? Yeah, a lot of the reporting is not great. Let's see. The Independent just updated their report. Let's find out. I know it's a small detail. Okay. Good had a son with her former husband. Yeah, I'm not seeing reports of other 2 kids. So, I'm unsure I'm unsure where the 3 children is coming from. I know that there have been a lot of stories. Adoption. Well, yeah, obviously adoption is an option, but again, most of the reporting I'm seeing is that there is one surviving child. Link to that, here you go. Here's the Independent. Here. Are they her wife's kids? Well, I mean, if she's married, then that 6-year-old boy is also her wife's kid. But it's largely immaterial.
Can function as a paramilitary force for the president's will, as a secret police that goes into homes and tears families apart, murders civilians in broad daylight, should not be allowed to exist. This country existed before ICE. In fact, I am 4 years older than ICE, and it can exist without it again. This isn't the first time that ICE has shot someone in broad daylight and lied about it, or killed someone in broad daylight and lied about it. That's happened in Chicago already.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Based Notes. They spent yesterday like mythologizing about Ashley Babbitt and how she was unjustly killed by federal agents. As Ashley Babbitt had broken into the Capitol complex and was breaking through barriers to go after members of Congress who were fleeing. In this particular and who warned her not to break through that barrier. They gave her plenty of warning. And in that case, Ashley Babbitt is a hero to the right. But in this case, a woman is driving to get around an ICE vehicle, and an ICE officer, like, gets gently bumped at most by the vehicle and just opens fire to her head after he's clear of the vehicle. It's ridiculous.
So what do we do? Well, first off, we need accountability. I don't think Donald Trump wants to abolish ICE anytime.
Is Kat cool? Yeah, Kat's cool. I've had some limited interactions with her in the past. She's like before she ran for office, and she's very cool.
Soon, but that's why it's more important than ever to get involved in politics. Look at what's happening on the local, state, and federal level when it comes to your community. And if we can build a coalition in 2026 and 2028 and slow down this agenda as much as possible, we have a chance of building a big enough coalition to actually accomplish that goal. But abolishing ICE is the floor. We need trials. Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, Greg Bovino, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and anyone involved in this disgusting farce of justice needs to be held accountable. They have to answer to the American people. We can't just pretend this is some fever dream, and we certainly can't wait it out. We are at this point, not just with ICE, but with our affordability crisis, with our rights in disarray, because of half measures and ignoring reality by our leaders. And then we are also told that what we want is a pipe dream, that we're asking for too much. It is not too much to ask our country to not murder us, to not kill mothers and call them domestic terrorists, to not use force against anyone that disagrees with you. We don't want your racist terror agenda.
Who's Kat? This is Kat Abu-Ghazaleh. She's running for Congress in Illinois. She's cool as fuck. Support her if you can.
And any Democrat should be willing to say the same. Abolish ICE, disband DHS, and justice for Renee Good. Let's talk about what happened with ICE in Minnesota.
Yeah, she is a goat. She's great. And of course, I would encourage everyone tonight, please call your elected officials in the House and in the Senate, because folks, and you can use 5 calls. I've linked it in all of the chats. 5calls.org. Call your elected officials and also consider leaving them a fax, because and you can use fax0.com for that, to send a fax for free. Because there are now articles of impeachment being introduced against Kristi Noem. Here is Ayanna Pressley doing it in the Senate, or Senate? No.
My motion to subpoena is pretty straightforward. Earlier today, a woman was shot multiple times and killed by immigration enforcement agents in Minnesota while we were holding a hearing on the state. And while there are claims that ICE did nothing wrong, the officials in Minnesota say otherwise. And since this committee is responsible for oversight of federal law enforcement, we must investigate. This subpoena will help us get to the truth, and it should have bipartisan support. And I urge my colleagues to vote yes.
It is a tie, so the motion fails. Does any other member have any business before the committee? Seeing none, without objection, the committee stands adjourned.
My motion to
continue to call. Get them to reintroduce these subpoenas. Because if it is already a tie, that means it is close to us having a win. So call your members in the House, folks. Leave them voicemails. Leave them voicemails. Ramp that pressure up. When they get into work tomorrow, they should have full voicemail boxes. They should be out of fax paper. All right? But also, here you have Congresswoman Robin Kelly. I'm impeaching Kristi Noem, who is an incompetent leader and a disgrace to our democracy. She wreaked havoc in Chicagoland area and has brought her reign of terror to Minneapolis. One of her rogue ICE agents shot and killed an innocent woman today. It must come to an end. I refuse to stay silent while Kristi Noem breaks the rule of law and terrorizes our communities. I'm introducing articles of impeachment against her for violating the public trust, obstructing Congress, and self-dealing. Read my full statement. So, folks, a lot can happen here. And you might say, oh, these are all doomed endeavors. And that they might be. But you know what? They are worth doing to ramp up pressure in any and all possible ways on the Trump administration. Okay? Call your elected representatives. Call your senators. Call, make sure you are putting as much pressure as possible. Okay? Do it. You gotta call. And if you find that the voicemail is full, that they're not taking any more voicemails, then I encourage you all to check out faxzero.com. It's a really easy to use website. It even has fax your congressperson, senator, or governor. Very helpfully linked here. And it's really, really easy. And you can do it without a fax machine. And guys, we need to increase this pressure. Like, we gotta do what we can. Yeah, run their fax machines out of paper, exactly. It's frustrating as hell. Like, keep in mind, oh, well, it was a tie, it failed. They can introduce those, like a motion to subpoena every damn day, guys. They could do it multiple times a day. They could make this like the thing that grinds Congress to a halt if they want to. Why do fax machines still exist? Because the infrastructure of Congress is old as hell. Like, if Democrats actually got a fire under their ass to do something, they could grind everything to a halt. And we know that because Mitch McConnell did it when Congress had a supermajority of Democrats, and Mitch McConnell ground everything to a halt. Okay? What should we be demanding in the body of the facts? Demand impeachment of Kristi Noem. Demand an investigation into the murder of Renee Good. Demand that they grind Congress to a halt until these ICE agents are out of American cities. You know? It is vitally important that we use this moment to leverage whatever we can to stop this fascist flood of freaks into our cities. Because it's not just Minneapolis that this is going to happen to. You know, this massive $100 million advertising blitz that they're doing, it's to recruit more and more members for their KKK Gestapo outfit. So they can do this everywhere. And we should stop it here and now before it gets even worse. And we only do that when we put in the work to try and get them to stop. You got to organize locally. You got to pass local laws. Your local laws are going to be some of the last bastions of defense we have when ICE comes knocking at our doors. What's it like in other cities? I mean, in other cities, it's been bad too. Chicago, LA, New York, ICE has been operating. But something to understand is that over 2,000 additional ICE agents were deployed to Minnesota in the past week or so. Kristi Noem was bragging about how it was the largest ICE operation in history, currently underway in Minnesota. And that similar amount of force is going to be the norm everywhere once they've finished recruiting. I almost thought people were actually upset about what happened. Turns out it's just leverage. Oh, fuck off, you piece of shit! Oh, I thought people were mad. I thought people were mad about what happened. Look at you with your pseudoscience piece of shit username, you ungodly monster. Fuck off. Fuck off. What do you know about my city? What do you know about my goddamn city? Get the fuck out of here. Go fucking hang out with Nazis, you loser freak. Jesus. Oh, I thought people were mad. Oh, it's just leverage? Yeah, leverage to ensure this never happens again. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, you think this is leverage? Yeah, it's fucking leverage to ensure that more Renee Goods don't die every day. You evil pieces of shit. Holy fuck. God. These people are fucking choking on boots. It's crazy. I'm angry as fuck. Maybe take a hydration break? No. Nuance is lost on these types. I'm like, guys, I'm losing it. I get on here every day to tell folks to give a damn enough to show up to boring ass meetings so you can protect your communities from ICE. And then when suddenly a member of my community gets killed for standing up to ICE and trying to protect our community, suddenly people are like, "Oh, you want this to be leverage?" Yeah, I want it to be leverage against like that ever happening again. The very thing that Renee Good died for, opposing ICE and keeping her neighbors safe. Yeah, I want to keep that mission going in her name. I was exiled from Minnesota in 1997 for trying to tell them God sees. Minnesota doesn't have exile. What you're talking about is people in your community thought you were fucking nuts and crazy. You stupid piece of shit. God. What is wrong? Maybe it's the fluoride in the water, you know? Maybe the fluoride in the water got to your brain and riddled it. I don't know. God, stupid fucking pieces of shit. Conservatives are just the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. Yeah, bro got treated like a fucking weirdo for being a fucking weirdo and is talking about, woe is me, I got exiled from Minnesota 30 years ago. Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe we don't want a fucking weirdo who thinks that the New World Order is coming to get him and is going to force him to eat bugs. Because that's not happening. Instead, like, all of the people who worried about, like, oh man, the New World Order is going to come and make us live in hobbit homes and eat bugs, are all deep-throating Donald Trump's boots. It's filthy as shit. From South African, sending all love. Best, keep standing up for what's right. We're doing our best, Fez. We're doing our best. How do you get exiled? Like, was it a court decision? No, there's no... Minnesota doesn't have exile as a punishment for crimes. When some dipshit comes in and says they got exiled from Minnesota, it's because they were being a fucking freak and people just stopped hanging out with them, and so they left. God damn it. Anyway, I really do apologize to my editor. This is gonna be a bitch to put together across several different streams with the technical difficulties and stuff. Yeah, God forbid we use our anger as a motivation for accomplishing work to oppose these Nazi fucks. More likely they're lying for attention. I mean, if they wanted 1 second of attention and then to get, like, obliterated from chat, never to be seen again, I mean, I guess mission accomplished. Unedited, this would be instantly demonetized on YouTube. I mean, that's fine. I don't care about whether or not this video is monetized or not. Frankly, I don't care if it gets monetized or not because you guys support this show. Like, what the live streams and the donations I get from you guys, that's what keeps this show going. The ad revenue from YouTube, not so much. My goal, especially for some videos like this one about Renee Good, my goal is not for it to be monetized. My goal is for it to inform. But I do want to say, I guess to just round things up, I apologize to my editor. I know that this is going to be a pain in the butt to edit. And I apologize to those of you in chat who deserve one, that I couldn't keep my cool as well as I wanted to for this stream. I think you all understand why that is, but I still do want to apologize. And also, I just want to say, if you got anything out of this, let me know what you think down in the comments. Leave a like, consider subscribing, and yeah, if you need help getting involved on the local level, this community can help you do that. I put out a call at the end of almost every single one of these videos to, you folks watching, to get involved in your local politics. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is by joining your local Dems. You know, this is a group that almost everyone in the country has access to, and that you can, in fact, work with and build power within. But I also advocate for people to work outside, to organize with more worker-oriented groups like DSA, because we've all seen what DSA can do in New York City with Zoran Mamdani. And I'm encouraging all of you to join your local Dems, join your local DSA, learn the ropes of your local political situation so you know which meetings you should turn up to have a maximum impact. So you know when the park board meets, so you can be there as a voice of sanity in the room against these people who show up and want to talk about parking when the main issue to be discussed is whether or not the parks should be open to ICE to stage their operations and abductions, so that you can be in the room at city council meetings to, deny AI data centers, purchase in your town or city, so that the air and land and water aren't poisoned and used up by these facilities, so that you can be there to make sure no municipal property is used by ICE agents as they try to infiltrate and abduct your neighbors. The entire goal here is for us to build local power to keep one another safe, and then to continue building that local power so that we can defeat the political enemies that we have that gave rise to ICE in the first place. And those enemies, by the way, are not just in the Republican Party. Some people who defend ICE are also in the Democratic Party. And we must defeat them, and we must defeat the Republicans. The people who stand for all that is happening right now, the people who put out these milquetoast statements about, oh, well, just form a form letter in response to a constituent being murdered in broad daylight by these federal agents. Okay? You need to get involved locally. Your local Dems and your local DSA are the best way to do that. And if you need help doing that, you can join our Discord, !Discord, in any of the chats. And when you join, you can reach out in the Discord to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems, and to GamerG for help joining your local DSA. We have, over the span of like the last year or so, gotten, maybe 100 people organized to get more involved locally, and I would love to see that number get much, much bigger in the coming year. And I know this community is still relatively small. I know in the grand scheme of things here on YouTube, I'm not a big I'm not a big streamer, I'm not a big content creator, but the goal here is bigger than me, and I'm trying to do my part, and I think you all need to do your part too. We all have a role to play here, and let's get to work, huh? Is DSA like SOCDEMs but more local chapters? Yeah, kind of. And I mean, DSA is a big tent, so you got SOCDEMs and you got farther left folks. All kinds of folks work within DSA. And DSA generally works with the local Democratic Party to get more progressive folks elected. But we need to start getting serious about getting involved locally, folks. It is not enough to know the correct thing anymore. Just knowing the correct thing and virtue signaling about it is not enough. You need to actually show up for the day-to-day work of building a political movement. And, that doesn't have to be flashy, but it does mean showing up sometimes to some boring meetings, maybe like once a month. And I think we can all find time to do that. At least I hope we can. All the Somalis in Minnesota come out tomorrow and protest. That way you can make ICE's job more easy. Hey, Eric Fernandez, why don't you come out tomorrow as well into the streets of Minneapolis wearing your KKK hood? That way it can make our job a lot easier, too. Fucking piece of shit racist. Get your white Klan hood on. You'll really stand out. For real, we can't let this fester. True. So, folks, all I'm saying here is we need to start showing the fuck up in a little bit more boring and mundane ways than perhaps many of us have done before to do the day-to-day work of building up a movement. And I believe in us. I believe in you guys. I believe in the fundamental goodness of the American people. I believe that when we work together, nothing is impossible. And I believe that we can beat these fascist bastards back into oblivion. So I hope you'll join me doing that. And let's keep on going. Rest in peace, Renee Good. There's some weirdos today. Yeah, a lot of pieces of shit like to use a crisis to spread their wackadoo nonsense. Whether it's racism or pseudoscience, I guess. You're a man, baby? Well, wait a minute. No, that describes you, Matt Norton. Why do we have a bunch of man children posting at 3 o'clock in the morning? What's wrong with you? Did you guys have too much sugar and now you're up past your bedtimes? Jesus. They have no life. It's true. No, not a man baby, a baby man, indeed. All right. So, folks, I was going to read a bunch of your donation messages at the end of stream. However, because of the technical difficulties, a lot of your messages have been lost on previous streams. I don't know that I can go back and find them per se. But I do want to say a big thank you to Two Spectral Wolves for the $100 dono. I very, very, very much appreciate that. Thank you so goddamn much. That is incredibly, incredibly generous. And I just really appreciate that. You wrote, "Love and solidarity, Jack. We're watching in real time the answer to the question, how did Germany/Italy let it get so far? Maintain the rage. Hey, we'll fight until we can't anymore, I guess." Wire Sponge, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you as well. And let's see here. Let's turn on notifications again. Boop. Boop. And I'm gonna just close that entire tab. My computer is probably gonna be a lot happier about that now. And I'll turn on alerts here because I always tend to forget over here. Here we go. There we are. Sound alerts back on. What movie are you watching when you log off? I don't know. I might just like roll into bed with my partner. That might be what I do. Maybe cry a little bit. Where's the Chud in chat? They're gone. Guys, our mods are quick on the feet. Their swords are sharp and quick. Maybe I'll watch like an episode of Star Trek or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, my intention when I started this stream was to be done by like, start at like 10, 10:30, go until like 1, 1:30, and now it's 3, going on 3:30. Have I finished Pluribus? I haven't even been able to start it yet. The new one? Nah, next gen. Folks, if you got anything out of today's stream, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and please consider supporting the show with your subs, your donos, your memberships, your super chats. You guys make this show possible. I would not be able to do it without you guys. And I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate all of you.
Here's one for the road girl. Take care.
Latzia, thank you for the $10 super chat. You're an absolute gem. Thank you very much. Lady Raincloud, I fucking feel it. I told my partner today, I'm just so tired of being angry all the time. You know? Hope you're having a nice stream. I am not. This has been a very unnice stream. You strike me as a Star Trek Voyager fan? How dare you? How dare you? Freedom Evie, thank you for subscribing as well. Appreciate you. Dabfix, thank you for being a member. I appreciate it. And Translilian, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thanks for muscling through the psychic damage. The psychic damage was immense today. I'm not gonna lie. Janeway slander? Look, I just disagree with a lot of Janeway's decisions, okay? Is it okay to ask, did you know Renee? I did not know Renee. But I know that street that she was on. I know that area of town. I could hear the sirens earlier today. It's close by where I live, not to dox myself or anything. It's scary because, like that could have been me, Dustin the Damned, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. This has been one hell of a way to start 2026. I agree. I ask as a DS9 and TNG enjoyer. My favorite is DS9, and TNG is great. Yeah, part of my problem is like the writing on Voyager is very all over the place. Some episodes are pretty good, and then some episodes are just absolutely crazy. You know what really hurts during the streams? The we should give up and do fuck all chatters. Yeah, it is fucking. It does make me angry. Ozark Socialist, thank you for subscribing. And hell yeah. Freedom Evie, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Stop the Stupid, thank you for the $2 super chat. Appreciate all y'all. God, DS9, look, DS9 is an excellent watch, especially for the times we're in, alright? I have a comment for how you structured this stream. Starting off with context and building up to it was perfect and very professional. Thanks. I feel like I could have done a little bit better with like the middle and end. I always try and give you guys the context first and then like get into the main bit, but I wish I had structured the middle a little bit better, but also the stream cutting out twice really threw me off my game. So I did my best. My Star Trek senses were triggered just now. Hell yeah. How old was this woman? 37 years old. Just a couple years older than me. I should check out Babylon 5. I've been meaning to do it for years, Ophelia. Franzalilian, thank you for the $1 super chat. And Ophelia, thank you for the $5 Canadian. I appreciate a good channel. Hell yeah. Did you know Stargate is returning? I'm pretty excited for it. But I want to know what direction they're going to take it in. Where can you stream Babylon 5? Not sure. Haven't looked into it yet. Hey, you did way better than every other streamer who just dove into it. Like I said, very professional. Thanks. Doing my best. Sadly, Babylon 5's home video and streaming has been a mixed bag of fuck-ups. Oh, shit. Alessandra Silva Ruiz, thank you for the $5 super chat. God damn, you guys. It's been a day. Oh shit, Sequest. Winnie Rose, I haven't thought about Sequest in a long ass time. They're bringing back Teal'c for Stargate? Well, okay, I'm 100% on board now. I didn't know Teal'c was coming back. I fucking love Stargate SG-1. Well, Superjet Guy, I did have that kind of structure ingrained in me for essay writing. I do have an English degree, guys.
Have to start work now. Glad I caught this stream, as upsetting as it was at times. Solidarity forever.
Hell yeah. Good luck, Nick the Peasant. Thank you for the £5. Hope you have a good day at work. And helpful. Glad I could be of assistance today. I just watched Stargate for the first time recently. Loved it. It's so much fun, isn't it? It's the best implementation of Ancient Aliens. You know? Ancient Aliens, absolutely bullshit theory about archaeology, but very fun concept for a sci-fi, especially when it's done in a way that doesn't throw indigenous people under the bus, by and large. Farscape is excellent, yeah. Whoa, Spot Dogs,
Not
thank you for the
nearly
$5
enough
super
money
chat.
to deal with our shit and the trolls, but it's something.
Yeah, anytime shit pops off, the trolls, they look out for the streams to try and get a rise. Which, by and large, I think I think I've been doing a better job of not having prolonged back and forths with trolls.
Hopefully we can get a protest going over here in Lansing.
Yo, Lansing, Michigan, let's go. I am gonna be very interested to see what happens tomorrow. Especially with Minneapolis schools shutting down for tomorrow to keep the children safe from ICE. I'm wondering if that means a lot more adults are going to be taking a day off of work to spend the day with their kids. And I'm also wondering if that means that there's going to be like some kind of colossal protest. It's going to be interesting to see how this all goes. Also, Burning Sock, thank you for the $10 dono. I very, very much appreciate it. Yeah, days like today are fucking hard, but you guys supporting me allows me to power through, and helps me to justify spending my time doing this professionally. You guys allow me to do this and like have a roof over my head, and I in return I get to try and move the needle however much I can against this authoritarian bullshit fascist pieces of shit. And I do apologize, that didn't even come out correctly strung together, but I think you all understand what I mean. Remember, Jack, you're a gem. I'm doing my best, doing my best. There were moments today where I thought everything was gonna fucking explode. People were really fucking mad in the streets. We'll see how things play out tomorrow. Why do Wisconsin and Ohio have so much power in the USA? I don't think they do. Like, obviously they have power in their own states, but not really outside of it. I bet a lot of high schoolers will show up to those protests. True. Oh, in the Electoral College? Well, I mean, the short answer for that is that the Electoral College is bullshit. um, it's bullshit concocted to give slave states more power, and it's left over from a bygone age of politics, but, that's it. Do you foresee a repeat on the scale of summer 2020? It's possible, obviously, but if we do see a repeat, I don't think it's going to be the same kind of protesting that we saw in 2020. I think people are very aware that that this is different. If reincarnation is real, a lot of these people are going to be spawned back here. So sad how someone can be so evil. Well, I mean, if reincarnation is real, and they'll be spawned back here as like cockroaches or something. Like they'll eventually learn their lesson, I guess. But thankfully, I don't think reincarnation is real. So, did you ever watch Picard? Not yet. I probably will at some point, though. Well, I think this one will be much angrier, Banana Brains, but I also think that people have been getting educated about protest through Indivisible, No Kings, etc. And I think that people turning out are going to be more inclined towards peaceful protest and understand like the dynamics at play rather than full on reacting. And I at least I hope so. I hope it will be more peaceful. Which, by the way, the George Floyd protests were by and large extraordinarily peaceful already. But the ideal outcome, I think, would be to give like the Trump administration no ammunition whatsoever to try and claim that they need to ramp up a military presence in Minnesota or something in order to keep the peace. when I'm saying this is not a problem exclusive to ICE. Well, the problem that is exclusive to ICE is the fact that these are people from out of town in masks abducting people right and left for no reason and then putting them into an extrajudicial system, right? Like, the problem is they operate outside of the bounds even required by local police departments, you know? ICE has less training, ICE has less vetting, and like considering how low the bar is for local police officers, that's saying something. So like it isn't the like state inflicted violence is obviously not localized to just ICE, but ICE has a different position in our society and different legal powers than what is afforded to local police departments. I agree, local police departments are a problem and need to be that need to be addressed, and police training needs to be addressed as well. But like, uh, when we're protesting about ICE, it's about something a bit different, I think. But in general, police violence is a result of poor police training practices and situational management. I mean, I think that is a huge part of it, but I also think that it's just police being in situations that they should never have been in the first place. You know, like someone having a suicidal ideation and having like, being on the edge, that's not something police should be responding to. You know? Um just by and large. And I also think that like the militarization of police is another huge issue. There's a whole lot of issue with policing, and I've talked about it at length elsewhere, but I'm not going to get into it now. Yeah, the issue is like law enforcement is different than fucking ICE. ICE is here as like a terrorist force. Felt like some soft pale blue dot tonight. What is this? I will watch this when the stream is done. This does seem really nice. I'm a sucker for this particular segment, Lady Ringcloud, so I appreciate it. I forget it exists sometimes. Well, folks, do we have a fur baby segment on the house tomorrow? I don't know. We'll have to see where I'm at. How's Expedition 33? It was fucking excellent. Why are you posing with the SF Moes? What? For those who come after, indeed, indeed, indeed. Aren't there already protests in other cities? Yes. Oh, okay. I was confused. I don't even know what that means. Mad Cat Scotty, thank you very much for subscribing. Appreciate it. Gonna play Slime Rancher. That's a fun game. It wasn't quite my speed, but I totally understand the appeal. Firecrafted Gaming. Hope you have fun. What's the ribbed forest green sweater? It's like a crop sweater top that my partner got me for Christmas. It's from Killstar. Also, Mad Cat Scotty, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs over on Twitch. Much appreciated. Thank you. By and large, agreed. Oh no, B2T. Yeah, Disthrone, I finished Expedition 33, and I did a special stream where I just, in one sitting, played all of Dispatch recently. It was really, really fun. What state am I based in? I'm based in Minnesota. I live in Minneapolis. I live close by to where Renee Good was killed today. Hope you stay safe. Yeah. It's dangerous out there, to say the least. And again, not because of protesters. I'm not scared about, like, the protests getting out of hand. I'm scared about ICE getting out of hand. Did I attend the vigil? No. I did not. I was too angry to do much with myself. I took a rage nap, and then I did this. Yeah, one of my like, the response my body has to feeling intense anger is to get sleepy. Disthrone, I highly recommend playing Dispatch. It's so goddamn cool. I'll check it out, Harold. All right, I am going to be done for the night. I appreciate all y'all. I'll maybe be back tomorrow. Maybe I'll be back Friday. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Appreciate all y'all. And just know we're going to work to make sure everything's all right. And we are going to overcome. So stay strong, keep the faith, fight for what's right, and let's keep on going.
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. shall overcome someday. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around today. Deep in my heart, I still believe that we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I still believe that we shall overcome someday.
Good night, everybody. Let's have a better